نهاري قرآن، املأ قلبي قرآن، واسق حياتي قرآن.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وآله وصحابه وسلم. Amma ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Viewers at home, we welcome you once again to your program, NASFAT fHOUR, a program sponsored by Nasirullah al-Fatih Society, NASFAT. Today on this program, we will be looking at Islam and human rights. We want to look at where they meet. We want to look at where they depart. To discuss this topic today on the program is an erudite Islamic scholar, an academician of international repute, an administrator par excellence, a member of the National Mission Board of NASFAT, the Provost, Michael Otedola College of Primary Education, Naforija Ikpe, the person of Dr. Nasiruddin Olajide Onibon. You are welcome to the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers at home,
we want to look at Islam and human rights. In the context of Islam, sir, what do we mean by human rights?
Yeah, thank you very much. Whether in the context of Islam or the way human being wants to look at it, human rights denotes the rights of people irrespective of sex, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion. As human being, what are the rights that you have? That is, those things that makes you a complete human being. Don't forget that the principle of good life and even civilization is based on human rights. So in Islam, we have a complete injunction from Almighty Allah that describe or give so many rights to human being. As long as Almighty Allah has created you and placed you in this world, He has given you rights to live, to move about, your privacy, your dignity, all the rights that we have come to propagate in the 19th century or even 20th century. Yeah, I recall that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights came up in 1948. And it was only in 1950 that United Nations instituted 6th of December of every year as Human Rights Day to celebrate Human Rights Day. You see, this is in 20th century, whereas Almighty Allah has stipulated all these rights in the Quran over close to 2,000 years ago. So it is now myself and yourself that are beginning to propagate those rights. If you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you have about 30 rights stipulated there. You go through it, you see that Almighty Allah has already given it to mankind. We are not expected to be demanding for that from ourselves. But because man has made himself lords over man, that is why today we will have to ask for our rights from ourselves.
Alhamdulillah, our doctor has given us the definition of human rights, saying that whether in Islam or outside Islam, human right is human rights. And he told us that there are rights, humans have rights to a lot of things. Now, Dr. Sir, what are these rights?
Yes, thank you. Like I said earlier on, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights lists for us 30 rights. So let's, for the purpose of time, look at these rights one after the other. Let's take, for instance, the most important one is right to life. Once you are born in this world, to a particular mother or father, you have the right to live. Nobody has the right to take your life, except you also commit a heinous crime. Not even your parent, not even yourself, according to Islam, because you do not create that life in that person. The Quran tells us in chapter 5 verse 32, it reads partly, "Man qatala nafsan bighayri nafsin aw fasadin fil ardi faka'annama qatala an-nasa jami'an." That whoever takes a life without a just cause, or that person has committed crime on earth, Allah says it's like he has killed the whole mankind. Because that particular life, you never can describe what that life will contribute to this world positively. If he survives, he's going to give birth to children. If he survives, he's going to contribute to life of some other people positively. So we don't have right to take somebody's life. So the right to live your life is prescribed by Allah, to the extent that you cannot also take your life yourself. If you take your life yourself in Islam, you are liable to punishment and hellfire. Number 2, let me talk of right to privacy. Everybody that has come to live in this world, you have your own what we call private life. What are private to you are private to you. To some other people, it may not be private to them. But what are those things that are private to me must be private to me. And you must respect it as private to me. For instance, Quran tells us in chapter 24, verse 27, that partly it reads, "La tadkhulu buyutan ghayra buyutikum atta tastanisu wa tusallimu ala ahliya," and so on and so forth. He said, do not enter a house that is not yours until you seek for permission, and you greet them until they permit you before you enter. So you don't walk into anybody's apartment, because you never know how he or she is. So life to privacy is entrenched there in the Quran. And by extension, all other things that are private to you must be respected by other human beings. Another one I want to say is the right to choice of religion. The third one for that matter, and that is today we have imbroglios all over the places as far whether somebody professes this religion or not. For God's sake, we do not hold that human being. He has been created. He has not had choice to determine who or which tribe or which country is going to be. He was supposed to be born. Okay, he got into a place today. He professes one religion or the other. It is right. Okay, the right to punish him belongs to Almighty Allah. For us, as Muslims, you want somebody to be Muslim. For us, the right we have or the obligation we have stops at passing the message. Even the Prophet is commanded by Allah that we have not sent you except that you pass the message to the person. You are not to force the person. If our Quran tells us, chapter 2, verse 256 precisely, it says, "La ikraha fid din." There is no compulsion in religion. And perhaps what makes you even a Muslim is that you unconditionally, willingly submit to the will of Allah. So it is your right to determine the religion you want to be. Okay? So, and you do not owe anybody an apology for that. You also have right to dignity. As a human being, I have my privacy. When I even come out or you come out, I must respect you. Right to dignity denotes that you do not say bad things about me, or you do not suspect unless you find out and you can establish the fact before you begin to spread it. You see, Quran tells us that itanibu kathira min ad-dhanni inna ba'da dhanni ithmun, that you should go away, run away from suspicion, because part of it in most cases are sins. Okay, let's look at right to knowledge. You have right to be educated. Not if, as a person, you determine which kind of knowledge you want to acquire. And as a nation, now by extension, as a nation that you are born, you have right to education. And you will discover that almost all constitutions in this world has, maybe for our own, I think if you go to Nigerian Constitution chapter 2, it states those rights there for us. And to that extent that a citizen can sue the government if you don't provide means of education. qualitative one for us. So you have the right to be educated, whether by yourself or by your parents. And the kind of education you want to choose to be engineer, I want to choose to be doctor, I want to choose to be an accountant, I have the right to do that. Okay, if anybody has alternative, you have to discuss that with me, and I agree with you. And you don't forget that the Prophet said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslima. That seeking for knowledge is compulsory. So the choice of knowledge, the rights to knowledge is also there. So if United Nations or certain human rights group today are saying, oh, you must educate us, it is there already in Islam. So when you also talk of meeting points between Islam and human rights, I want to say that human right has been part of Islam from beginning. So it is only those of us that are concerned today that are propagating, we want to establish human rights, we want human rights. In addition, we also have right to health, right to health, right to live good life, right to health, to find heal for any ailment. You see, the Prophet said that for all ailments there has been created a cure for it. Okay, so as a person, if one is suffering from a kind of disease, you have right to seek for health anywhere I say. And that is why some of us will give a second look to somebody wanting to go and do a checkup abroad. Yeah, it's what I don't like, because it's like, okay, we don't have that kind of health facility here. If as a leader, you must look into that. Don't go abroad, stay here. Let's patronize our own health facilities. So that you see as a welfare package in the Constitution: provision of health, transportation, education, and what have you. Okay. We also have right to home property. It is there in the Quran. The Quran says, "La tansa nasibaka minad dunya, fahsin kama ahsanallahu ilayka." Don't forget your own portion in this world. Don't forget your own duty. Don't forget that you have come to this world not just like that. You are expected to also hold certain property. As little as you can even point to. This my cap is my property. This my slippers is my property. This my jalabia is my own property. I have the right to own it. I have the right to buy another one to put it on. I have the right to buy a land to build a house if I have the money. I have the right to own property. Whether you are a man or a woman, you have your money, you have the means, you can't exert that right to own any kind of property you like, here and anywhere.
رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن.
The program you're watching is NASFAT fHOUR, a program sponsored by Nasrullah Al-Fatih Society, NASFAT. And on the program today is Dr. Nasiruddin Olajide Onibon, one of the national missioner of NASFAT and the acting provost of MOKPED, Michael Otedola College of Primary Education, Ekpe. And the topic being discussed is Islam and human rights. Now, sir, you have talked about all these rights, irrespective of sex, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion.
Yeah.
But there is this perception that women in Islam are marginalized, that it's like they do not enjoy the same right as men. Is this true or false?
Expressly, I tell you that is false. Because as Quran describes any incident or gives any law, it mentions man, it mentions woman, it mentions male, it mentions female. So for me, I do not see where women are marginalized here. Women have right to own property, to life, to religion, to righteousness, even to Al-Jannah or hell. the husband doesn't have to take the wife to hell or Al-Jannah. If the husband believes and works righteously, he enters Al-Jannah. If the wife believes and works righteously, she also enters Al-Jannah. If they work at cross purpose, they will go either way when they die. We have example of prophets of Allah whose wife was against the teachings of Allah, and Allah said both of them will enter hell. And we have example of a wife whose husband was an enemy of Allah, and Allah opened Al-Jannah for her. So my own understanding of Islam through Quran and Hadith has not shown me anywhere where there are discriminations or women are marginalized. If you ask me, I will say that is more societal than religious prescription. In any society you found yourself in this world, even in the Western society, there is like a natural division of labor, that these jobs are suitable for women, these are suitable for men. You even in America or in the Western world, you find very few men in the area of secretary than women. In the same vein, in the area of nursing, you find more women than men. Ditto in our whole part of the world. Ditto in the Arab world or Islamic world. So where is the discrimination here from the angle of Islam? It is more of human mental making. And so because we found women in a profession that looks to be light and simple, and found men more in the profession that looks to be hard and difficult, so we feel, okay, this is for you, this is for that. In Islam, and according to Quran, I have never found where those marginalizations are entrenched.
Yeah.
So the only area anybody can point to is whether a woman can be chief imam or not, which is known to all of us. That whether a woman can be chief imam or cannot be chief imam, that does not come into discussion. Okay, but where the woman will lead to that extent, that is mundane or what have you, have such a limitation. Even in the Western world, how many of the countries have women as president or prime ministers? So it is not the making of Islam or Quran that brings about marginalization if they feel like that.
Alhamdulillah, Dr. Sir, talking about rights now, I want to be specific about the use of hijab by women. Is it not an infringement on their fundamental human rights, asking women to cover the whole of their body when men can go about, probably not even using the cap, and they are Muslims? And I want my question to be a twin question. The second one has to do about polygamy. A man will just wake up, bring home another wife. What does Islam say about the right of women as it has to do with polygamy? Can man, out of his own volition, without discussing it with the wife at home, just bring in another woman? I want us to look at the rights of women in this light.
Yeah, thank you. Talking about hijab this time around, I want to tell you that the dressing or coming out of male and female has prescription. For both of us, we are not expected to come out nakedly. We are not expected to come out nakedly. And Islam, the Prophet ﷺ describes every aspect of a woman as naked except the face and the hand. Okay. So if you choose, you see, as in the description or enumeration of the rights, we have pointed out that the choice of religion is there. you have chosen to be Muslim. Okay? Now, you are graduating. Because let me tell you, Almighty Allah also recognizes 3 classes. He recognizes those of us that have gone far in religion. He recognizes those that are in the middle. He recognizes those that are still behind. But he wants all of us to work together. So if some people have gone far in religion, they are using hijab as you want to describe it. And don't forget that whatever we say, hijab literally means what we used to cover. Even a man wearing something like this is an hijab because it covers his nakedness. Okay, but let's come home. In our own context, the description of hijab is that one that is used to cover the head, the ear, even for that matter. Because some people will use it to the cheeks, what is it? To the cheeks, to the chin, and still say this is my hijab. While some will use it to the chest, while some will use even to the navel. Okay, all these are also described as hijab. For us, we think that is used to cover the hair is hijab. Hijab generally means what you use to cover. So a man that dresses properly has also put on hijab. Okay, now let's come home. That the hijab a woman wears discriminates him to man, her to man, will now bring me to a question of, okay, are we saying she should wear the kind of dresses a man wears? Then what are we going to say if we find a man that puts on a jalabia like me and put on a hijab always? How are we going to describe him? So this religion has prescribed cover your bosom. And hijab also goes beyond what we wear. Even the way you carry yourself about, male and female. You don't walk around for people to see whether you are handsome or beautiful. You want to show your ornaments. You want to show them what you wear, my wristwatch, my clothes. And all these are not part of Islam, whether you are a man or a woman. So, but because, you see, it just looks natural that for every society, whether in the Western world or elsewhere, we see women as precious. And we see them as delicate. So whatever they wear, we want to look at it. We want to see how it attracts men or women. Do we also think that it's only men outside there that are attracted to women? No, they are even attracted to themselves. Somebody said a woman wants to enter a place and wants everybody to focus on her. Not even only male. Even the female colleagues, she wants them to focus on her. So the second part of your question,
to do with polygamy.
With the issue of polygamy. Thank you. Yeah, polygamy is prescribed in the Quran for those who can afford it. Now the question is, should I discuss it with my wife first? Or should I seek for her permission first? That does not come here at all. You see, courtesy, what the courtesy demand is that you inform her, there I want to take up another woman. Okay. So it is now, naturally she won't give a positive answer.
Do you now go ahead taking the second wife against her wish if she doesn't give a positive answer?
Yes, you bring up, we usually bring up this issue of her wish. What is her wish? What is my wish as husband? As a wife, she has that. As husband, I have mine. I inform her, I want this thing. It's as good as, to me, let me take it so simple and say, oh, dear, I want to eat bread. She says she prepares yam, and I say, no, it is bread and stew. So you are telling me by I wish I must compulsorily eat the yam. Okay. And don't forget that simple things like that can even cause crisis at home to that extent. That, okay, put up this kind color of bedspread. Say, no, it is the green color I want. Oh, it is this I want. And it can cause anything. The same way you want to take another wife, you have the means, you convince her, she refused to be convinced. For God's sake. I say to me, and my understanding of the religion of Islam, that you have the means to do it, you take it up. It is prescribed there. I have the chance to take 1, 2, 3, 4, if I have the means. If I have the means, that's the condition. If I think I have the means, I take it.
On the last note, sir, what is your advice to us in seeking our rights and not trampling on other people's rights? What's your advice?
Yeah, thank you very much. I like to assert here that Islam enjoys human rights. It promotes it from inception till date. It is there in the Quran. For all the 30 rights we listed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you have them in the Quran and Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But my advice is that in seeking for our rights, let's do it peacefully.
Yes, that's the parting word. Let us not wait for people to agitate for their rights before they get them. Imam, for joining us on the program and shedding light on Islam and human rights all the way from Ekpe, Dr. Nasiruddin Olibo, thank you very much for coming to the program.
Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Alhamdulillah. Till we meet next time, I am your brother in faith, Imam Saeed Adekunle, saying Ma'asalama wa ila liqa.
رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن